Okay, this is like take 12 or 13, I don't know, but anyway, my name is Dawn Priolat, and I'm in Dubai, United Arab Emirates right now. I've only been here for, well, going on 3 weeks, and so I'm filming this actually close to the pool in my apartment hotel building. We have a lot of apartment hotels here. Um, for today's video, I wanted to do some tapping with you on the issue of feeling like a burden. And this is something that a lot of us carry with us because this comes from our childhood. This comes from a time much, much earlier in our life. And of course, you might have other parts of this energy that you brought in from other lifetimes, etc., other dimensions, whatever, depending on your belief system. And it doesn't really matter. But the fact is that we carry this energy, and the effect that it has on relationships, especially romantic ones, is just so self-destructive. Because basically what happens is at some point in your childhood, you found out very early on that it wasn't safe to have a need. It wasn't safe to show your deepest needs and desires. And this creates a blockage in the second chakra area. But most importantly, what it does is, here's what it looks like in relationships. So you show up on a date, let's say, and he says, oh, I know this great Chinese restaurant, just as an example. Now, you don't really particularly care for Chinese food, but because you shut down your ability to express your desires a long time ago, because you found out that having a desire, it just was never going to get fulfilled. So at some point you just decided, you know what, I'm just not going to have a desire anymore. And if I do, I'm certainly not going to let anybody know that I do. So you show up in relationships kind of as a yes girl, you just kind of say yes to everything, and you don't really dare express an opinion or a desire other than what he wants. He wants Chinese. Oh, okay, I'll have what you're having. That's fine. It's just fine. It's just fine. And you put that big smile on your face. Yeah, that one. The one where you're kind of gritting through it. And, it could be 3 months later, 6 months later, you just explode all over the place because the whole time you've been putting on this charade, pretending like everything's just fine, when actually you've been getting stepped on left and right, but you haven't had the ability to communicate that because you shut that down probably at the age of about 4 or 5. So you're basically showing up in all your relationships. You're on the outside, you're acting like you don't need anything because you're putting up this facade on the outside that, I'm tough, I don't need anything. But the truth is, on the inside, you have a lot of needs, but you are really afraid to let those be expressed. So in order to get in touch with that younger part of yourself, I'd like you to close your eyes and just imagine if your subconscious mind could show you a younger version of you. And just put yourself in your family home. Your parents are there, your mom, your dad, whoever raised you, maybe adoptive parents. And just notice, how was your daily life? Did you feel adored? Did you feel cherished? Does that little 4-year-old or 3-year-old version of you feel noticed, feel attended to? Does somebody come and take care of you when you cry? Or do you just cry for hours, waiting for someone to come and take care of you? When you ask for something, do you generally get your needs taken care of? Or do you feel like you're just being ignored? Everything else is more important. Maybe your parents even said something or did something to give you the impression that you were not wanted. And for some of you, if you were adopted, you may feel unwanted regardless of how nice or how good your adoptive parents may have been. They may have loved you very much, but there's still this feeling of every child wants to be raised by their biological parents, and when that doesn't happen, there's always a question of to a child who doesn't understand much of anything in the world, they always think it's something about me, that I'm not good enough, and so they always think it has to do with them. So anyway, I want to get to a little bit of tapping, so you can open your eyes when you're ready and just kind of keep in touch with how it felt as a child and how unsafe it might have been for you to express your needs. Because I don't know about you, but I remember very well that whenever I wanted something or I expressed a feeling about something, I was told to quit crying or I'll give you something to cry about. So, I learned really young that you don't express your feelings, you don't express your desires, because that's only going to get you punished. And I've actually heard parents say to their children, you either just be happy with what you've got or I'll take that away from you too. And so imagine what that does to a child who's been brought up that way, been brought up to don't ask for too much because I'll take that away from you too. And that doesn't go away when you turn 18, unfortunately. This is what shows up throughout all your life, and it's affecting your career, your relationships. When you can't ask for what you want, usually what happens is, like I said, you're going to end up at some point exploding because you're going to feel like all of your wants and needs are not important, and you will at first say, oh, it's fine, it doesn't matter, I'm okay, and this is lies, okay? So I want to do some tapping on this. Anyway, enough talking. Halas. Okay, so go ahead and tap on your karate chop point. Or actually, we can just start with any point. Doesn't matter. We can start at the top of the head. And just think of that little child that is you. There I am. Feeling kind of invisible. Feeling like a burden. Watching my parents struggle to make ends meet. And they fight over money. And there's so much stress. And my mother is always talking about how much money it costs to feed us kids. And I feel like a burden. I feel unwanted. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have been born. And maybe my mother, my father, or someone else has even told me as much. I feel unwanted. I feel like a burden. They have told me that I'm a burden. In so many words. And so now I carry this pattern into all of my relationships, even my friendships. I always say, no, I'm fine. That's okay. I don't need anything. Instead of speaking from my true feelings. Instead of saying, yes, I feel sad right now that you didn't call. I feel sad that we don't connect more, or that we don't connect in another way. I'm so afraid that, like I was told, that I need to be happy with what I have, or else I'll lose that too. And so now, in my relationships with men, I'm afraid that if I actually speak up and say, I'd like more of this, or, I'm not totally happy with that, I'm afraid that he's just going to walk away if I dare to ask for anything. So I just keep my mouth shut and pretend that everything's fine. But then I always explode all over the place. And then I end up being the one walking away. And I regret it later. I now see this in the light of consciousness. I see where this pattern came from. And I am so willing to let this go to the extent that I'm able to today. I'm so willing to let go of this pattern, this vow, really, that I made to never be vulnerable, to never have a need, and if I do have a need, to keep quiet about it and pretend that I don't. As long as I have no needs, no opinions, no preferences, sure, I can be in a relationship as long as I give up ever wanting anything, ever expressing a need, ever expressing a desire. No wonder relationships have been so much work, because I have to give up every part of me in order to be in one. Up till now, I am so willing to let go of this second chakra vow, to never be vulnerable, to never have a need, or to never express one. I'm so willing to let this go. Okay, so that was round one. Take a deep breath. And so in the second video, I am going to lead you through a more positive round, hopefully in a place where I will not be disturbed, because I've got some curious onlookers here. So I'll see you in the next video where we'll do a positive round for tapping, for feeling like a burden. Okay.